Scrapbookers, this is Katie Scott, and I have a blog called Kiss and Tell Scrapbooking, and today we are going to be working on a page that will end up looking like this. I just like to give you a little preview so you can see where we're going. So for this page, you're going to need one photo if you have it, and then you're going to need some 4x6 journaling cards. And so the ones that I used are from We Are Memory Keepers. It's their system, Albums Made Easy. And I just use them in the portrait orientation. You could also do this same page if you just flipped it over and do them this way. And it would just be, you know, 2 columns of 3. You don't need these particular products. There's a lot of manufacturers are making these types of cards. This is just some different cards that are about the same. You know, they're 4x6. And so that's what we're going to be working with. What the focus of this page is today is my great-grandmother Ellen, and I have written about her life according to the census, and then her birth, her marriage, and her death. And so it's just really a kind of a factual page with minimal embellishment. You know, the facts are really the star of the show, and yeah, and you'll need some letter stickers and maybe a couple doodads. I used these things called tulip crystals, dimensional fabric paint to get all of those little, I don't know if you can see them, let's see. Like just some, whoops. Or you could use enamel dots or brads, or you don't have to use any of that. It was just something to give a little shine to an otherwise pretty straightforward, boring page. But I wanted to keep the page fairly simple. So that's our page today. So if you pause now, you can go gather your supplies and we'll get started. Hi Scrapbookers. So today I'm going to be working with this picture of my great-grandmother, who I've actually used the same picture on a different layout, but the other layout was about who her mother was. So this time I want to focus on her, so I'm using the exact same picture. And that's okay, because with ancestors, typically we don't have as many pictures. I mean, we don't have as many pictures as we do today. So I'm going to be using this We Are Memory Keepers little memory system of 4x6 journaling cards. It's called Albums Made Easy, and I'm not going to use pocketed pages. I'm just going to adhere them to a piece of cardstock. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this orientation of the up and down, and then I am just going to take the some of these, they go different ways. So some of them you can use up and down, and others you can use across. Let's see. So this is one where I think you could use it either way. So just for example, if we just put 5 of these along with the photo, that's going to get us to the right place. So here we go. And I don't actually know a ton about her, so I don't have memories of her, but that's okay. I'm going to find them on Ancestry.com. And I know my mother and my aunt do have memories of her, and I could call them, but I'm going to be lazy and not do that. And so anyways, the page is just going to simply go together something like this, okay? Just 6 cards. I'll probably goof around with the cards. But what I'm going to go do now is I'm going to go to my Ancestry.com account, and then I'm going to jot down different things about her life, and then I will be back to put the page together. It's going to be really simple. Okay, I'll be back. Hey Scrapbookers, so I'm back, and I have made the notes with my... These are 2 of the journaling cards with the census. So I did like 1900, 1910, 1920, 1930, 1940. And I wrote how old Ellen was. So she was 13, 23, 33, 43, and 53 during those 5 censuses that I had access to. After 1940, they did have censuses, but they haven't been released to the public yet. So we see in 1900, she was 13. She lived on Spring Street in Attleborough with her parents and her brothers and sisters and her grandmother, who was 75. And then in 1910, she was 23 and lived on Commonwealth Avenue, still with her brothers and sisters. And her grandmother was 86, still living with them. And Ellen, or Nellie, worked in a jewelry shop as a chain maker. In 1920, she was 33, and now she was married to Charles Leo Flavin. And he was 30 years old, and they had my grandmother, who was 1.5 years old at that time. So they now lived on 4th Street, and her husband, Charles, was the manager of an optical factory. And he was, I know this from otherwise, but he was developing a patent on the arm of eyeglasses. And then in 1930, Ellen's 43. Her kids are still living at home, so she has Grace, my grandmother, who is 12. Ruth was 9, and John was 6. They lived on 23 Forest Street, and this is the street that my family remembers. I don't remember it, but my mother and my aunt do. And Charles was now the superintendent of the optical factory, and in 1940 they're still living on Forest Street, and the kids are still at home. So my grandmother was 22. I think she was in college, but she was still there, as was Ruth was 20 and John was 16. So that just kind of gives the story of, you know, her life from 13 to 53. And let's see what else I found. So I also found her birth record, and so I know that she was born Ellen Louise Joyce to William and Mary P. Joyce. So I think it's the, if you saw my other video, I think it's O'Brien and not Shutters was her mother. That was the subject of one of my scrapbook pages. And her father was a jeweler, so it's kind of interesting. She marries a jeweler. And what else? She's got a bunch of brothers and sisters. So then I sort of found her, the record of their wedding. And so she was married in 1916, which was between these two census. No, it was between this one and this one. And so I'm kind of been wondering where to put things on this page. And maybe I'll put that here in between those two censuses, because that's the 1916. I kind of keep moving these journaling cards around. And then he lived to be 75 years old. She lived to be 82, and she lived from 1886 to 1968, and she died in Dartmouth. So I think that's the arrangement. And what I'm planning to do is this is the one that I'm going to be decorating, and I'm thinking I'm going to do letter stickers that will have her name and her dates of birth, kind of like a tombstone. Is that? The other thing that I thought was, my other option would be to put this kind of in the middle and then cut this in half so it kind of went like that. But I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to do it like this. I think I like that. Because it is a little of an odd arrangement, because where you would really want to put someone's photo is here, 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 or here. So by putting it in the middle, or even by putting it over here, it's just a little bit of a weird arrangement. But this was my other thought on the arrangement of photos. I like that too. I guess it doesn't make a huge bit of difference. But so I'm going to go ahead and get some letter stickers, and then we'll get to work on this card. And I'm going to also look and see if I have a little bit of bling, and if I don't, I think that I might use something like, these are called crystals, just to make it a little bit blingy. Not because she was blingy, but because she works in jewelry, I feel like there should be some sparkle on this page. Let's just see how this works before I get too far. So that would just be like little, so I'm just working with the arrangement already, and it just gives a tiny bit of dimension. Yeah, so I guess I'm going to do that. I'm wondering where to put that on the other pages. I think what I might do is make them be like bullet points for my journaling. I'm going to... Excuse me. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see if we can get this in the middle of these flowers. I don't know. I kind of wish I didn't do that, but I did it. And now I'm just going to put a little bit in the center. I feel like I'm getting a little too carried away now, but I've started, so I'm going to commit to it. And I'll need to let this really dry before I put it into a page protector. And I'm a little bit on the fence as to whether I want to do a page protector that oops, yeah, I really don't like that. I just want to leave this one plain. So that one will be unadorned. I just like that one the way it is. Okay. Because I feel like I went a little overboard on some of those. But that's just some, so if you don't have enamel dots, this is kind of a good, it's called dimensional fabric paint. I don't know if it is archival or not. You know, I don't care. I don't. Okay, so let's start with the letter stickers. And I'm thinking, so her name is Ellen Louise Joyce Flavin. So I need kind of smallish letters to fit into that space. And I could use my favorite glittery letters. That would kind of work in with the theme of, you know, her husband and her dad were jewelers. And they worked in Attleborough, Massachusetts, which was a huge center for making watches and jewelry and that sort of thing, clocks. So there was big industry there at the time. And yeah, I guess I could use those. I'm not seeing any kind of flat letter stickers that are really jumping out at me. So let's try that. So I'm going to start just right in the middle with her middle name. And it might not, Louise. I don't think it's all going to fit. I think I'm going to skip her middle name and just do Ellen Joyce Flavin. So let's start with Joyce. And we'll start with the middle letter of Joyce, which is the Y. I don't think these are going to be the best letters. I don't. What I think is I would rather have all caps, and these are actually all lowercase. So you have those ascenders and descenders, which makes things more complicated. So I need to find some different letter stickers. See if I can find something real fast. If I can't, I'm going to turn you up and then turn you back on. Darn it. You know what I heard? Lily Bee is gone. That's Lily Bee there. And those sort of work. Those, I don't know where. No, they don't. But I do want to use these soon because I heard that they were not doing, they're done. That's kind of sad. Okay, so now I'm looking again very closely at I have a little bin next to my desk, and I don't really see anything that I like. I do have these letters, which I think are actually going to be too small. This is like a basic gray kit, which otherwise I really like. Not doing so great here. Okay, let's try these. These are like my go-tos, but I'm not really loving the gray, except she's kind of wearing gray, so that could work. Okay, so I'm thinking Ellen, Joyce, Flavin, and then I might be able to get in her. So the L is going to be the middle, and I'm going to try not to poke these down too hard, so if I need to change the arrangement, I can do that. So I'm just like lightly setting them down. So this is the part of the video where I say, what can I tell you? I think I will be able to fit her whole name. Let's do that. And I also, what I didn't do but I wanted to do was look up why the middle name, like where they got those names, if they were naming her after someone else. That might be a topic for a page in the future. But the other thing I really want to do is, once you start getting into genealogy, you realize, oh my gosh, like so many, I mean, like you have 2 parents, right? 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 second grades, then 32, and then it just keeps going like that. And so, like, literally within a few generations, you have, like, seriously hundreds and thousands of great-grandmas and great-grandpas, and I think this needs to be a little bit longer. And so what I'm going to try to do is like start with my great-grandparents. So that would be, you have 4 grandparents, and so you have 8 great-grandparents. So I want to make a page on each of my great-grandparents. So that would be 8 pages. And then move to my second great, which would be, that would be 16 pages. And I'm not going to do them all in the same format. I think what's really interesting is if you watch the Who Do You Think We Are? You Are. Who do you think we are? Who do you think you are? Then what's interesting isn't like the family tree. And that's typically like, that's when, you know, if you have someone that's into family history in your family, if they start going into, well, this is this, or even if you read the Bible and it's like, this one begot that one, it's important, but it is boring. So, Louise, Joyce, Flavin. So what I want to get to is the stories. And this page was more about the facts. So it's interesting, but I don't think it's like riveting. You know, it's interesting. It's good to know, but it's not fascinating at all. It's just kind of like I'm just rehashing the facts. So I've gathered data from the census, and I've gathered from the census and from birth and marriage records. And so that's interesting, but it's not a story. I mean, it's sort of a story, but it's more like facts and figures and dates. And what I like about this is that those facts and dates and everything are important, but I have paired the person's photo with all those facts. So if I'm just flipping through the album, I can go, oh, there's Ellen Louise Joyce. That's nice. And if I'm not that interested, I could keep going. Or if I am interested, I've got all the information right there. But I'm still not, nobody's told me a story about her. I don't really know her very well, just from looking at this page. So what I'm hoping to do with some of my other pages is tell stories. But to do that, I've got to find the stories. So I'm sure there'll be some ancestors that will be easy to do. Like in Ancestry.com, they aren't my direct ancestors, but they're like, you know, my great aunts and uncles and great kind of thing. Like some of them were attacked by Native Americans, or there's well, actually, a lot of my grandparents, not a lot, but some of my grandparents, my great, like way back greats, were involved in the Salem witch trials. And unfortunately, we weren't witches. That I can tell. We were the accusers, which makes my heart break. And I actually have done a page or two about that. I would love to find if we were also some of the witches, but I don't think we were. I think we were the ones pointing the fingers. So sad. And then we also have someone in a different line that was actually captured by pirates and lost at sea. Okay, so there's Louise, Joyce, Flavin. And I would like to get her dates of birth and death in there. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit it with these letter stickers. So we have, let's see, 1886 to 1968. Just put that in there. I think if I would have planned a little bit better, I could have, but that's not going to work. These letters are going to be too tall. So I'm just going to find probably my favorite little letters, or these ones might work. I don't see any numbers. Oh, so annoying. They just gave me letters. I think all letter sticker sheets should have ampersands and also numbers. That ought to be a rule, right? Okay, these have letters and numbers, and they kind of work with the colors of this page. So let's do 1886. Oops. I think these might be basic grade 2 though. I don't know if they are or not. But I almost feel like I'm putting together a little kit over here with my rejects. So maybe my next page is to work with those rejected. 1886. Then we are going to need a little dash. Because it's all about the dash, right? To, I don't know if they have a dash. I don't think they do. I'm gonna try to stick with those same numbers. I might have to move those first ones around a little bit. To 1968. So one of the things I've been doing over on the Get It Scrapped forums is have people like list their great grandparents, you know, their names and stuff, and to see if we're related. And so far I found, I think 2 that I'm related to 2 of the girls over on the Get It Scrapped team. But I'm sure there's more. Okay, and then now I'm just using an eye, and I'm just putting it on its side. Ta-da! Now, should I embellish this page? Oh, probably. Am I going to? Probably not. Unless I can find something really fast. I'm looking through my little collection of buttons, and oh, this is kind of cute. This is, it's just like a little, it's a brad. Debbie Hodges always saying, put a brad on it. So that's just a little brad. I don't think you can, hold on. I don't think it's in focus for you. Is it? It sort of is. But it has, there we go. It just has a little like leaf on it. I think I'm just going to stick it right there. And I don't have a pen handy, I don't think. Or scissors would work too. But I think I'm just going to poke this through the page. So I put the mouse pad kind of underneath it, so it'll poke through a little easier. Ta-da! Feels like it should have gone down a little lower, but it's not going to. And then the other step on this page, it would be to just adhere this down to a piece of cardstock and have it be all one. Or my other alternative, see if I can find it real quick. I have a whole like binder full of, I don't know if I can find it, full of page protectors that are like the Project Lifestyle page protectors. So it's, no, I don't. I know I have it, but I didn't put my hands right on it. But if you had a page divider that would divide up your page into those kind of horizontal 4x6 squares, that would work too. So that's about done. Thanks for watching. Okay, so I'm just back to show you one more thing. So I did find the page protector that I was talking about, and this is also by We Are Memory Keepers. And so if I'm ever like, I don't know which way I should have done that, then I can switch them around. I don't think I'll actually do that, but I just did switch them around. I don't know if you noticed, but that will be, I need to let those little dots dry, but that will be the arrangement of the page. And I guess now I say ta-da, ta-da. I kind of like, I like her, I don't know. See, I'm torn as to whether that should go up there or down here. Maybe you can tell me. I'm going to leave it like this because that was my initial thought. And yeah, that's my page. Sticking to it. Okay, thank you for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.